Jennifer, it is so great to meet you. Here we were sitting on a porch at the Inn on Buffalo and struck up a conversation, and you are the most fascinating woman. I'm so happy to meet you.
Well, I'm so thrilled to meet you, a fellow California Buffalo blend. It's a rare breed.
It is a rare breed, a very special breed.
The best.
I heard your story yesterday, and I said to you, oh my gosh, we have to film this because it's such a remarkable story. You have just finished a book, and the book is about this creator of mid-century furniture, right?
Yes, I'd love to tell you about it. Russel Wright is among the most important American designers. Worked in the mid-century, most notably with ceramics on a line called American Modern. That was the most successful and widespread ceramics of post-war era.
Wow.
And I had clipped from the New York Times years ago that there was a home called Dragon Rock at Manitoga, and I longed to go. And when I went there, I got this, my heart was leaping out of my chest. I realized I was going to have to do a book because it's like this unknown jewel. So this is Russel Wright's home that actually he designed and developed with his wife Mary. So as I dug into this, the first thing I did was meet the heir, Annie Wright.
Okay.
And Annie Wright was adopted by Russell and Mary. And I think she herself is on this quest to learn more about her mother, because her mother sadly passed away when Annie was only 2.
Oh.
And Russell was left to raise Annie on his own as a single dad.
Wow.
And what I really uncovered was not just a narrative about a home, but a narrative about an amazing collaboration and partnership between 2 people.
Well, that's when you were telling me yesterday, you said that, Russel Wright, any information about him, they leave Mary out of the picture. She's not part of the narrative anymore. And yet she was a huge part of his life and a huge part of his work.
Well, it was very typical of the time to put the man forward and for the woman to be behind the scenes. And I think that's what the woman did at that time. She put her husband first, but in fact Mary was a very, very powerful woman, and she was an artist in her own right and a lucid business partner, and they very much created this whole design practice and universe as collaborators.
You told me how they met at this festival and fell in love and were married a month later. But the story of this festival, it was in the 1920s?
So it's an extraordinary part of the story. And certainly, I set out to do a book on a house and 77 acres of property.
Right.
I never imagined the journey it was going to take me on. But Annie pointed out that Russell and Mary fell in love at something called the Maverick Festival. And I knew something had to have been very important there because they met in the summer and they eloped in September.
Wow.
The festival was started in the 1920s, and it was an outgrowth of the Birdcliff Colony, which is an artist colony. And the idea being that artists of all sorts, whether they had means or not, can come for the summer. And they did a lot of theatrical productions. There was writers, there was musicians. And Russell ran the scenic department. He staged all of the productions. And Mary was there in the summer of 27. And that's where they met, and that's where they fell in love. And I think there is where Russell really learned about a design practice that was both co-creation and one that was collaborative and iterative, fast. It's as much a visual narrative as it is a written narrative. It really is the synthesis of multiple archives. Of course, it's the synthesis of many people who touched the story. But interestingly, it was in February of 2020 when I was driving throughout the Hudson Valley and the Woodstock Valley and came back to California on March 8th with this bounty. And we were locked down just a couple of days later. So the pandemic for me was actually just a very internal experience. Where I got to
time to go within and write a book.
And I just want to mention that Princeton Architectural Press and Chronicle Books are distributing it. I do have an amazing relationship in history with Princeton, where I did do a book on an architect named Albert Frey 25 years ago, which they published.
You told me that you're good for about one book every 25
I think
years.
so. I think so. I need a few decades of recovery time.
Well, we have this one and whatever's next then.
We'll see if I make it. Well, I hope that people do go to Dragon Rock at Manitoga. It's a spiritual experience to be on these grounds and to wander these paths and to experience this home. It's an easy train ride from Manhattan. It's a day trip. Very intentionally so, because they needed to maintain their design practice in New York, so that accessibility was important. And it's a magical place. I can't wait to hold it myself.
I can't wait to hold it. I can't wait to read it. It's an amazing story.
I think it's beautiful, and I really hope people enjoy the journey.
Oh, they will. Thank you so.
Thank you so
very,
much.
very much
Thank you
for sharing.
Such a pleasure. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you so much for joining me today on this adventure into passionate living. And we hope you enjoyed all of our wonderful guests who were here today to inspire you to live your dreams and then to use those dreams to make a difference in the world around you. Make sure to join us every week on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. on your true hometown station, WBBZ. As well, you can join us on our website at passionateliving.com and on our YouTube channel, Passionate Living TV. And thanks so much again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week on an amazing journey into passionate living.